Welcome to How to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Solo. More than just a booking app, we're a community for the independent professionals in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to the stories of success and innovation from the industry's finest. At Solo, we understand the journey working independently, and our goal is to connect, empower and inspire you, whether you're just starting out or looking to expand your horizons. Join us as we dive into real stories from our industry and share practical advice to help your business flourish. We're here to make sure that even though you work solo, you're never truly alone. Today's guest is the incredible Nicola from Pretty Beaut London, a freelance therapist specialising in spray tanning, facials, lashes, brows. She's super in demand and she really can do it all. I'm super excited to hear how she's built such a successful business. Hi, Nicola.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you start off by sort of taking us to the beginning and kicking off with how you started your career in the beauty business? How did you find your first 20 clients?
I previously worked for the government. I was in a government job for 20 years and I trained to do eyelash extensions as a side hustle. And back then, I'm talking 12 years ago when I first trained to do lashes, I literally posted on social media, on Facebook to be specific, asking for 10 models at a really discounted rate. And I found, the day after my training, I'd done my first client and I'd done one every day for the next 10 days.
No waiting around, straight into it.
And it was absolutely hellish. It was taking me absolutely hours to do. And I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me, but I stuck with it. And from those 10 clients, I then started getting more clients, someone's sister, someone's mum. So it's very much word of mouth back then. I wasn't utilising any form of advertising or anything. It was literally, someone would see the lashes that I'd done and they wanted to book in. So that was how I found my first batch of clients.
Amazing. Did you sort of encourage your existing clients to refer people they know, or did it just happen for you?
I definitely think there were a few hints. I probably wasn't very direct with it. I'm pretty sure that there were a few hints being given out for referrals.
And then when did you kind of start introducing things like social media and, getting outside of those word of mouth referrals?
So I'd say probably a couple of years in.
Bloody well then, people just looking at your work and thinking it's brilliant.
I really didn't advertise for the first year or two. I think I was doing it as a side hustle. I only wanted, one client a day at maximum because I was doing it after work. So actually having, those friends and family referrals absolutely worked for me at that time. I was also really lucky to have a nurse from St Thomas's Hospital, and then I ended up with the whole workforce for that ward.
Really?
Because, they were working night shifts and looking at each other saying, I want lashes like yours. So then they all ended up coming in the end.
Yeah, you need to look awake, don't you, when you're so exhausted. It's an exhausting job.
To start with, it was word of mouth. But like I said, I was doing it really low scale. I only wanted, like 5 clients a week, really, because it was just something I was doing in the evenings after a full-time job.
And then at what point did you decide to go full-time?
Well, I actually got made redundant from my office job. And thankfully, I trained in lots of other treatments over the years. So I started with lashes, then it was brows. I just kept up with the training. And each year I learned something new. And I feel like training in that way, gradually, I really became a master at what I was learning, which really worked for me. And then when I got made redundant from my office job, I was able to fulfill my dream of becoming a full-time beauty therapist. It's something I'd wanted to do for a long time, but I didn't have the balls to leave my job and go for it. So when I got made redundant, I was like, okay, everyone else was like, freak, what are we going to do? And I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I threw myself into beauty therapy full time. That was just over 2 years ago. And I absolutely love it. I love being my own boss. I love working my own hours, being in charge. It's great.
That's amazing to, have that new career all lined up for you, not having to think, what are your next steps? You said you kind of, threw yourself into it. Yeah. What did you change? Did you sort of, ramp up the marketing? how did you take that step into going full time?
So it was very much marketing. I started to use all of the social media platforms that I was on. That was completely foreign to me because I still don't think I'm particularly good at social media.
Oh, you are. Your Instagram's great.
Yeah, I just, I started posting. I learned how to do stories and reels and just really started pushing for new clients. For my existing clients, I started to offer kind of incentives, if they refer me to someone else, then I would give them a discount off their next treatment and what have you. So, and I joined another platform similar to Secret Spa, and I got quite a lot of bookings through them. So yeah, before I knew it, I was literally working full time. But I mean, even when you don't have the clients to fill the whole day, there's always other stuff to do, whether it's, ordering stock or managing your diary and catching up with emails.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? You kind of go from an office job where, you maybe have your 3 designated things that you do to suddenly, being a marketing manager, being a photographer, being a cleaner, being a psychotherapist, and then actually doing the kind of job that you trained to do, nails, lashes, tanning. Did you find that you were actually working sort of more hours of the day because you were suddenly managing your own business?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I feel like I don't have an off button. I feel like I manage my time well. I just maybe give a bit too much time to the business. Yeah, I don't really take any time for myself. From February to April, I worked for 65 days straight. Gosh. But, it was because I booked a holiday and I was like, okay, I'm going to go on a guilt-free holiday where I'm not worrying about, the loss of earnings.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I'm trying to work on this summer, actually, is giving myself a bit more time, a bit more structure to the hours that I'm working.
Do you have any plans how you're going to execute that?
I've actually gone through my diary on Solo and I've opened my availability up to mid-September, and I've given myself some actual structured working hours. So through June, July and August, I'm going to finish at 3 p.m. on a Monday and a Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah, so that I can actually enjoy, some summer evenings, maybe pop to the Lido or something like that. And then on a Thursday and a Friday, my intention is that I will work from home in the mornings because I've got a small treatment room at home. And, my mobile jobs will just be in the afternoon, say like between 1 and 8 or 1 and 9. So yeah, just having some structure to the days, being able to spend a bit more time at home with my dog and just know that I'm not going to be out the house for like 15 hours.
Nice. God, the idea of those sort of summer afternoons to look forward to. And actually, probably like a Monday and Tuesday afternoon, they are probably the more quiet times, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Monday and Tuesday mornings, like middays, they're usually quite busy, but the Monday and Tuesday evenings are fairly quiet. So,
oh, that's something to look forward to. I'm excited for you. Nice little Tuesday at the Lido. Wonderful.
I know.
So circling back to social media, I know that you mentioned that, it was something you suddenly started having to start doing. Was that quite scary, suddenly having to be a social media manager with no prior experience to it, but it being like a really necessary part of your new job?
Yeah, it was really scary. I was like, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And to start with, I felt like my posts were only being seen by people who already followed me. And most of the people who already followed me were clients already. But even that, I realized, although I was only being seen with people who are already familiar with me, some of them didn't know that I offered other treatments. I posted one day about doing hair extensions, and one of my lash clients, she was like, I never knew you'd done hair extensions. And now she's become a regular for both of those. And likewise with facials, somebody who was having spray tans with me, she now has facials. So actually just, advertising the different treatments that I do has definitely sort of gained traction with my existing clients. Again, it's word of mouth and, them telling their friends, oh, my lady also does this and what have you. So, I've got friends of friends and family and
That's such a good point. You know, if you're introduced by word of mouth as someone's lash lady, and then you're not doing some really hard upsell at the end of every treatment, like I actually do hair extensions, you know, spray tans, then how are they to know? And then, yeah, you just end up maximizing, you know, the revenue you get from those existing clients rather than having to just solely get new ones, which I suppose in terms of, you know, getting someone in for a treatment is better for you. You're getting that done in the same appointment. So it makes sense, doesn't it? It's not just about getting new clients. It's, you know, getting your existing ones to spend more. Is there anything that you kind of do to keep your clients coming back again and again, apart from just providing is super important, but apart from providing an excellent service, is there anything you do to sort of go above and beyond?
You know, if I've noticed that a client hasn't booked for a while, you know, I'll reach out to them. I feel like I have a good relationship with every client that I've got. So, you know, I feel absolutely comfortable in reaching out and saying, hi, how are you? You know, how's everything? Hope you're well. You know, contact communication is probably the key thing I do. But, you know, I offer promotions every now and then. I think just my commitment to the clients, you know, like I'm really committed. I really try never to cancel appointments unless there's, you know, like something major. I'm dedicated to them, to providing a good service and being consistent, you know, using good products. Someone might come around, and if I'm feeling really generous, you know, if it's her birthday coming up or something, I'd be like, you know what? Your lashes are on me today. Or so, you know, like someone who's really kind of committed to me, you know, I feel like they should be rewarded. So trying to give the 5-star service every time is probably what keeps them coming back.
I mean, that is the great advantage of being a self-employed therapist and, you know, being able to have those super close relationships with your clients. So, you know, knowing when it's someone's birthday and knowing what kind of, you know, little extra freebie they might want to keep them coming back. It's a really good position to be in. Did you sort of structure what you were going to post when you got made redundant and you started going into your beauty therapy full time? Did you sort of think, you know, this is the sort of content I want to get. These are kind of posts that I want to make. You know, these are the reels that I'm looking to post. Was there kind of like a strategy behind it at all, or was it very much trial and error?
It was very much trial and error. I started taking really bad photographs of my clients. I'd done some research actually on, actually using Instagram posts and reels to learn how to create useful content, how to use hashtags and stuff like that. I started to create some posts. I was mainly taking pictures of lashes. And then I kind of started to do some stories, which I feel like reached people who don't necessarily scroll through the grid posts. I started doing stories. I started posting availability. One of my tricks of the trade is to say last minute cancellation, and somebody's like, oh, you know, like they feel like they're getting me. Exactly. Yeah. That really helps to fill gaps. Obviously it works when there is a genuine last minute cancellation. But sometimes if I've just got a bit of a quiet day and I'm like, oh, I'd really like to fill this gap, you know, posting that. But yeah, I also started like making content, you know, I'm packaging my new supplies and, you know, restocking my kits and those kind of things, because I found it helpful seeing those on other people's posts, you know, seeing how somebody packs their spray tan kit for a mobile appointment. I done mine, and I've had quite a few comments asking about it. You know, I take pictures of my kits, you know, especially if I'm launching a new product or a new service or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? People are just nosy about what goes on behind the scenes. I think, you know, for us, it's, you know, we know what a kit looks like. We know even just like the process of treatments as well. I think especially for things like lashes, when your eyes are closed, you don't know what's happening. So to actually be able to see how like lash extensions are applied, some people see that and they're like, whoa, I had no idea.
And then also using branded marketing posts from the brands that I work with. So like Sienna X or $1 Million Facial, like they are quite good with their marketing and they create images for us to share on social media. So I find them helpful. Yeah, and like showcasing your work, and, kind of letting everybody know the treatments that you're doing, the availability that you've got. They were all things that I'd never really shared on social media before. And since I have, I've gotten a lot more accustomed through it.
Yeah, you mentioned $1 Million Facial and Sienna X. Now at Solo, we obviously have we have partnerships with those brands for their therapist finders. I just think people are so aware of the sort of brands that you're using on them these days. Like there's just so much more brand awareness amongst consumers. Have you had much uptake from those therapist finders, and many people found you through them?
I'd say maybe 10 new clients find me through the Sienna X therapist finder linked with Solo.
Brilliant.
And it's because it's linked with Solo, they just go straight into my booking system, create, like we don't even have a conversation. There's no text messages. There's no back and forth. They just go on, create an appointment, and definitely gained some new clients from that.
Yeah. I mean, Sienna is such a well-known brand. I think, just your average consumer that isn't in the industry sort of does associate spray tans with Sienna X. So yeah, it's just so interesting to see how people go looking for the brand and go looking for, somebody who's qualified in their treatments.
Yeah.
Are there any other tools apart from Solo that you kind of use to get everything done?
I literally just use Solo.
Do you?
So when I got made redundant 2 years ago, I was using a paper diary to manage my clients, texting, WhatsApp, back and forth. And it would go on for hours. Can you do this day? No, I can't do that day. Can you do this time? No, I can't do, it was just constant. I feel like I spent as much time with the back and forth communications as I did actually providing treatments. Then I joined Solo, and I honestly can't tell you what a difference it's made to my life, my business, everything. I no longer have a paper diary, and I loved my paper diary. I had a pen that you can erase so that it was all nice and neat, so when someone changed the appointment, I could rub it out. And I used to get one made every year, like designed specifically for my needs.
Oh, a real paper diary. Apologise.
I love stationery. I love, like all of that kind of stuff that. When I joined Solo, I think I was right at the very start when you launched Solo, if I remember.
Yeah.
I literally use Solo for everything. So I put my doctor's appointments, my dog's vet appointments, my schedule for picking up my nieces every other week, and like everything. I just list it all on there so I can see everything all in one place. I have like the week view, 7-day view. And then, I never do jobs at 7 a.m. So I use like the 7 and 8 a.m. boxes for like little reminders, get the car cleaned and,
nice. Yeah.
What day I should expect pay to come through and stuff. So I put myself little reminders up there. It keeps getting better and better, like with the color coding and color coding with the different types of treatments and stuff. So you can literally see it at a glance, even if you can't read it, if you're midway through an appointment, you open your phone, you're like, oh, that's a pink one next, you're going off to do a particular type of appointment, you can see it at arm's length. I also used to use the paper diary to record my income and outgoing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd go on the laptop once a month and enter all of that information onto my spreadsheet, ready for the year-end tax return and what have you. But I spoke to you guys at Solo when I started, and I said how helpful it would be to have like an income summary page, so that I don't have to literally make a note of everything that I've earned. And you've introduced that, and I love it. It's great. It's literally all of the information is there at a glance. I use social media and Facebook to promote and advertise. Everything else is Solo. And my link to my Solo booking page is all over my Facebook and my Instagram and my Google page. If someone finds me on Google, they can also book direct onto my Solo booking page. I don't know where I'd be without it, to be honest.
Oh, I'm so glad it's made your life so much easier. I remember talking to you about that income summary thing. And yeah, I think that's what's such a, nice thing. We ask our members what it is that would make your life easier, and then we can just build it. So it's super, super nice to see that come to life, when somebody really needs a feature, and we can then sort of put it out there into our voting system, and if lots of people need it, then we can actually build it, and then actually getting it to you guys and seeing it like actually save hours in your day. It's super, super cool. It's really cool.
The other day I looked at my phone, I had 6 messages.
Nice.
It was, can I book a spray tan on this date and lashes on this date, blah, blah, blah. So it was like a lady and her husband going on holiday. They've got 2 holidays booked and she wanted them to both have spray tans before both holidays. So like the messages was like one after the other. And I just sent her a link to my booking page. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure I'm available on all those dates. Feel free to go on my page and get yourself booked in. And that was it. Having an array of messages to respond to would have taken me hours before, the back and forth. I can do this time, I can't do that time. And now I just send my solo booking link and it's done. I love it. I honestly love it so much.
Amazing. So obviously you were kind of almost forced into going self-employed. I suppose you could have after you got made redundant, you could have gone for a, new job in the same industry as you were in before, but you already had this beauty job lined up. Was there a kind of fear in taking the plunge of, becoming a self-employed beauty professional rather than looking for another job in the same industry as your day job before?
Yeah. So throughout the years, since I started training and I was doing it as a side hustle, I had wanted to do beauty, but there was definitely a fear. I'd been employed for so long, and the thought of not having that set income every month absolutely terrified me. It was, am I going to make enough money to pay my bills?
If you could go back to the beginning of your journey as a beauty therapist and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
I'd say to just go for it and enjoy it and don't be scared. I'm hardworking, I'm committed. There was no chance I was ever going to not commit myself to it. I wish I'd kind of given myself that push a little bit sooner. And to have the confidence to, use social media and build a brand before solo and, before becoming self-employed completely. I was just a person who done lashes. I wasn't really a brand as such. And I feel like I am now. And, I never used social media because I was scared. Oh gosh, no one's going to look at my post. I'm going to make rubbish content and what have you. And now I'm just like, well, if it's rubbish, it's rubbish. I'm learning. It's a work in progress. And I think the way that social media evolves, it's going to, it's going to be like that forever. I'm always going to be learning. But yeah, actually using social media as a way to learn is really helpful, and to, maybe utilize that.
Yeah, that's such a good point. No one's, obviously there are people that, are social media experts, but no one's like a real expert because it's something that's constantly evolving. So even the experts are having to constantly learn. What are your goals going forward, apart from giving yourself Monday and Tuesday afternoons off and taking a breather for once?
So goals going forward, I think just to keep growing, be better, do better, push myself, offer my services, keep going forwards and finding new ways of, managing the business, and just to always keep improving.
Brilliant. That's super, super nice. Oh, thank you so much for joining us today, Nicola. I think some really, really interesting takeaways for our listeners. So really, really appreciate it.
No problem. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.